Hello everyone, odedex here. Welcome to episode 116 of my Sims Let's Play. So I'm right here in my B area, and in case you're not recognizing it, you probably missed the previous episode where I basically integrated my entire B storage, B product storage into my applied Energistics, so everything is there right now. And let me keep you guys up to date with what's going on off screen. You guys can see something strange here. The exotic bee, which I'm trying to keep breeding in here, has a very requires to be in a damp place and a warm place. So I actually had to change 3 of those blocks into hydro regulators, basically 2 additional ones. And I'm using the same water network to keep it fed up with water, to keep the place humid. And of course also running the heaters at the same time to keep it hot and running. And one more thing, off screen I decided to add a stack of 64 storage upgrades to every machine in this HV solar factory. So every machine here now has those storage upgrades. And I did it specifically because I still sometimes like to come here and dump like a stack of iron in here or do something that, speed this process a little bit. And when I do that, my MFSU starts to struggle, because when suddenly 3 or more machines at the same time try to run with so many overclockers, it just cannot keep up. But if the internal storage of all those machines will be a lot larger, like it is right now, it pretty much fixes itself. And just to the random note, you can see I've got to the point where I now have 5 HVs and almost halfway to the next one. So not bad. Alright, so off screen I managed to get pretty much a nice amount of crystals, a lot of quartz crystals and a lot of quartz dust. So I'd like to integrate the crafting of 64K's storage data disks into my crafting system. So, and actually craft one of those, because I'd like to do one more thing. So let's start by crafting the storage cluster, which will require 3 storage blocks, an ME advanced processor. And remember, since I integrated glowstone production into my system with the bees, I have one demonic bee that's constantly running in the nether, generating glowstone over time. Not at a very fast rate, but it's generating it nevertheless. So let's create the recipe for this. I'm going to need a glowstone, I'm going to need one of those, some glass, and some of those diamond processors. Let's see, what can I have access to? I have one of those, I can start cooking it. It will be a good idea. Okay, so I'm going to need, let's see. The fact that everything is bouncing is killing me. I'm going to need some glass, I'm going to need some glowstone. I'm going to need one of those storage blocks, the largest one. So craft just one. It's going to start bouncing around with everything else. And I'm going to need a processor. I've got 9, just need 1. Okay, I'm going to have to wait for this to finish. I'm thinking about removing or replacing some recipe storage blocks that I have within here with the CPUs. I'm considering doing this, but not yet. Okay, so glass in here, this all around, and this gives me the storage cluster. And actually I forgot to bring a blank pattern, so let's do that. Glowstone and the advanced processor. Paste it and store it in here. And let's actually craft one of those. So storage, let's store everything else and craft one of the storage clusters. I like seeing how it bounces around. I think you can actually, there is actually a crafting block that I didn't build. The crafting monitor, let's actually build that. I think that's something that lets you, as the name suggests, monitor crafting. So let's do that, let's see what it actually does. So I'm going to need again glass, I need cable, I'm going to need iron, and I'm going to need one of the basic processors. Okay, just one. Let's actually see what it does. Let's connect it right here, I guess. Okay, so right now it's not crafting anything because I just finished crafting some processors, but let's resume the crafting of the storage cluster. So just one. Oh yeah, okay, so... Ooh, nice, I like the way... Oh, I guess so. It goes by step, like it knows that it requires a storage cluster, so it realizes what it doesn't have, and there you go, now it's finished. And kind of in a recursive fashion, it simply goes back and forth until it receives what it requires, and there we go, you have that thing. Nice. Okay, so let's create the recipe for 64K. So I'm going to need redstone, iron, and glass. Just missing redstone. Iron, redstone, this thing, and glass. Gives me the 64K storage in code. And let's actually craft one. So dump everything back in here. And craft the 64K storage. Done. Okay, so what I'd like to do with that 64K storage is actually now integrate all my farm products also into my system. However, I want to try and start using more of the capability of applied energistics. So let's try to pre-format the data disks to only contain this type of item. So my 8 products will be pre-formatted into only be stored on that data disk, and I think as long as it has room and those items enter the network, they try to first be stored here, and if it's full, it will try to be stored in other data disks, I think. Okay, so let's call it farm products, and it's of course placing ghost items. You cannot shift click, unfortunately, so you have to do it manually. And in other words, so all 8 products, format, and just insert it into the system. And you can see, even though right now supposedly it's the first priority, nothing else enters it. Like, even there's fluctuation between cobblestone and other things, nothing goes into it because simply it's not the right place to go into, right? Things are still moving in here, yeah. And nothing goes into it. Let's actually, you can also see it has an orange dot, no clue what that means. Let's actually have a better test. Let's have it supposedly the last priority in the system. And now when I integrate the farm products, like I do right now, just insert them, even though it's the last priority, you can see everything went in here. So all 8 types of farm products went into this one, even though it's supposedly the last priority, going from top left to bottom right. This is now the last priority. Alright, so from here on in, it's actually very simple. I'm going to need an interface. I have exactly one. And I probably should get some cables. 22 should do. And very simply going to do the following. I already have a very nice connection point right here when I was connecting my rail tracks right here. So let's simply connect it like so. So let's try and minimize on whatever I can minimize on. I'm probably gonna replace this thing. Okay, so let's just break it for the time being like this. Okay, where is the actual cable? Okay, right about here. So simply replace this one with the interface and connect the tubes to it. Like this. There we go. So now any farm product will be entering the system instead of the barrels. And can refill this. And now sometimes there's still some other products. I think most of those products I'm gonna probably keep here. Yeah, I'm probably gonna keep those in this chest right here. It kind of makes sense. So basically the last step remaining to do is just empty out all those barrels. So let's do that. I'm gonna need some import pipes, or import buses to be more precise. Okay, so since there is no real nice way to do it, I'm going to temporarily just break the glass and the dirt and then replace it later. So just going to break everything here so I can, instead of moving things around and doing all of that, this is just a little bit easier. Oh, and now the golems are going crazy because they can come out. Okay. So, interface all of them with the import pipes. All of them set to stack mode and of course running all the time. And same here. Stack mode. And connected all the time. And now this guy doesn't know what to do. Yeah, okay. And quickly remove this and just connect everything together and connect it directly into the actual network. And things should start being pulled. There we go. And if I look right over here, you can see that this disk keeps getting fatter and fatter. So that's what I was looking for. Okay, I'm gonna let those empty out. And then just notice something really small, that I'm extracting charcoal and coal coke from those two coke ovens right here. So why not interface them as well instead of making them connect like this. So again, since I already have everything pretty much set up already, let's connect them. Let's find a way to connect them. I'll need some tubes for this. And also probably should get my gravity gun to move things around. Okay, so let's quickly move this away from here and actually set it up right here, so it actually starts sucking out all the coal, coke, and charcoal. There we go. And simply connect them into the same interface, preferably. So this will go down. Again, remember, interface is a very simple block. It will always try to have the items in this exported item buffer right here. If it's in its config, anything enters it will simply be exported back into the network itself. So this is why I'm using this block so often. This is pretty much how you interface with anything else. It's called the ME interface for a reason. So let's find a nice way to connect it here as well. I'm gonna probably have to break some blocks to do this. If you wanna make a cake, you're gonna have to break some blocks. Okay, so tubes. This goes down like this. Let's go on down further. And there we go. And now hide everything, make it look nice. As much as I can at least. And there we go. So this is empty. This is, well, sure. This is empty, this is also empty. And this is also empty. Okay, can break all of those import buses. And now, from your end, anything the golem collects will simply go into the network, so I don't mind him actually picking those blocks up. It's not like I'm worried about them getting into an inventory they shouldn't be in. They simply go back into all my storage anyway, so it makes no difference whatsoever. And now, let's completely seal the golems in here. So they cannot go out for any reason, either an accident or on purpose. Usually accidents, because they're not supposed to go anywhere else, but oh, you just saw them going out to farm that netherworts just because they can. So, and that's not something I'd like them to do, if I can help it. Alright, so now all my products, all my farm products, my wood, and my rails, and of course all my basic inventory is integrated fully and entirely into my applied Energistics network. So this is pretty much everything. Although there are still some things that I don't really want to have here. For example, this tube shouldn't be here. This cactus shouldn't be here. This shouldn't be here as well. This is fine. This is fine. Okay, this is all pretty much fine. Should take space somewhere, which it shouldn't, but overall it seems to be fine. Okay. And now you can see that what was previously 8 barrels and 2 of them with the upgrades. This is the amount of storage that they take on the 64K storage, and they're going to be able to store a lot more. So this is why I prefer Applied Energistics so much. It requires energy. I am running on the Industrial Craft energy. Don't forget it. Never forget that everything here is the cost of energy. The fact that for me energy is extremely easy because I have pretty much infinite lava and I'm running this on geothermals and also a nuclear reactor as a backup. This is obviously seems to be completely free, but it will consume energy. This is where the balance comes in. So it's pretty nice. Pretty nice. Okay, so here's another trick that I'd like to do. You may have noticed that previously when I was crafting things, when you craft something, if it takes a very long time and it takes a long process, it will keep doing that, but the moment you start crafting something else, it will stop doing that. However, I think I may be able to work around it. Let's see, if I try and place an interface, let's just build a couple of them. Let's build 3 interfaces. They're definitely taking the time. Am I out of course or something? No. Okay. So if I take an interface and just connect it to the network somewhere, say right about here. Okay. If I have, say, if I designate it to always have, for example, something simple, something like redstone. Obviously, if the export code thing is redstone, obviously it's gonna keep redstone here. Every time I take it out, it's gonna make sure there is new redstone here and always keep it here. And of course, only keep 1 stack. Anything excess above it will go away. But what if if I'm telling it to keep something like a solar panel in here? Now, solar panel is something that requires crafting. So if I do something like keep always 1 in here, it starts crafting it. And this is why it's nice, because if I say, okay, keep 7 in here, actually, let's go for a stack. Keep a stack in here, okay? So it's gonna start crafting it. It's gonna start crafting solar panels. But whenever, for example, if for example I start crafting something else, say, let's go for another storage cluster. No, it's too large. Let's go for a storage block. So it's gonna start crafting it. It's gonna take over here, I think, or actually no. Does it do it at the same time? Yeah, it does it at the same time, clearly. But it still says it's crafting solar panels, so this is interesting. Well, it's definitely gonna craft my storage block. It's working on it, there is no doubt about that. But it also keeps doing solar panels. So this is the way you can pretty much work around it. The way the crafting monitor works, I guess, is kind of messing with its brain. To cancel a job or a sub-job, left or shift click the item. Okay. Anyway, doing something like this will basically, if there is a repeatable process that you want to keep doing, for example, like I'm doing right here, which is always keep crafting solar panels. This is a trick that you can do where you're not also interrupting with other processes such as crafting something else. Which I think is an extremely useful trick. It's also, obviously, if I always like using cobblestone for whatever reason, so instead of coming in here and looking for it and stuff like that, you can simply use the interface to say, do this. And it will always keep a stack of cobblestone visible to you. However, there is something even more convenient that I actually wanted to do originally. I forgot and now I reminded myself. So I'm going to do that right now. Let's quickly clear my inventory and we can get to it. And I think that will officially be the last item in the Applied Energistics that I haven't used that except for the tools. And that is the storage monitor. The storage monitor is an extremely convenient thing. And it's actually very nice, and it gives you a very nice and fuzzy feeling if you come from factorization and use 2 barrels. Let's craft a bunch of those. Let's craft like 8. So I'm going to need a level emitter, and I'm going to need an ME cable, glass and iron. So let's see, iron, okay. Oh, this is not nice. Glass, level emitter. I'm gonna need more than 2. I don't have the crafting recipe for this. Derp, let's add it. Redstone torch. Okay, I'm gonna also need to add the recipe for redstone torches then. So let's get some blank patterns and actually craft some more then. Okay, good enough. Sticks. Redstone. I need some cables. And did I miss anything? And basic processors. Okay, that will be good enough just for creating the recipe itself. So how did it look like again? Okay. So first create the recipe for sticks, for redstone torches. Again, sticks I can craft already, and redstone is obviously a basic product. You can see sticks right here, creating 4 sticks from birch, from basically sticks. There is only one kind, although it's creating it from birch wood. Sticks is only one type of thing. And now with redstone torches, go for creating the actual level emitter, which looks like this. So this in the middle, this inside, a redstone torch, some iron, gives me the level emitter recipe. You know what, if I'm already here, I'm going to actually just create the recipe for the crafting monitor. I may, storage monitor, I may use it for other places as well, so let's do that. So this, 3 glass and 4 iron gives me the storage monitor in code. Dump everything back in here. And please give me 8 storage monitors. There we go. And also, in the meantime, I'm almost still keeping crafting solar panels, so this is why I like it so much. Okay, so I like diamonds. You guys know that I like diamonds. So let's do something like this. Let's have a very nice and large picture of diamonds somewhere around here that will represent the amount of diamonds that I have in my system. Let's have it say right about here. Again, like any other block, it's connected to the network. And what you can tell that, you simply right-click with an item, and you can tell that what to show in terms of what's being stored in the system. So I right-clicked with an ME cable, and it said you have 6 in the system. And this basically works with everything. So let's get diamonds, right-click with them, and now it will always tell me that I have the amount of diamonds that I have in my network. But it doesn't stop here, because right now I cannot interface with it. If I right-click empty-handed, it kind of empties it, but I think if I do something like this, let's get another diamond. If I click it with the wrench, or shift-click it with the wrench, yeah, storage monitor is now locked, and now I cannot right-click with anything else, or also empty-handed. It just won't interface anymore. If I just right-click again, it will be unlocked. However, there is one additional step. If I take a conversion matrix, I think that's the item, it may be one of the processors, I don't recall, but let's just try with the conversion matrix. If you take a conversion matrix, and just one, and say shift right click, you can see it's just changed a little bit. I'm gonna just simply add one more so you can see it clearly. You can see there is some slight changes here. And right now, it's still, oh wait, it's unlocked again. Whoops, let's lock it with this, okay. And now it still looks the same, but if I left click, does it have to be unlocked? This should output diamonds. This should basically work like a barrel, however it doesn't. Oh wait, you need to right click. Oh, you need to right click when it's locked, okay. Then it gives you diamonds, just like a barrel would have. So this is basically a very nice thing to have when you're there are basic materials that you always keep using. For example, I always use, let's say, I always like using diamonds are nice as a novelty thing to have. However, for example, I always use cobblestone. I use iron a lot. I use, let's see, what do I use a lot? Glass I usually use a lot. And to be honest, that's pretty much it. Let's also have redstone and say... Okay, let's have those 4 blocks for the moment. I use them pretty much a lot. So let's do something that will look a little bit nicer. So let's have this section designed to be kind of my visual storage area. So that will be 2, and I'm going to need some cables. And do this. And do this. And that will be kind of my visual storage area. Let me just apply some conversion matrices to all of them. I have 3, I'm going to need 3 more. So that's 1. That's 3. So shift right click all of them. And I'm gonna tell the top 4 at the moment to always visualize cobblestone, glass, redstone, and iron. And of course I'm gonna lock all of them. So lock the top 4. And what else am I using quite often? Let's find 4 more items that I'm using quite often. Let's say, okay, I definitely want to show diamonds. How can you not show diamonds? Come on. Who are you kidding? Let's place coal as well. I could also try and visualize, for example, solar panels. I think it may work. So it will tell me how many solar panels are at the moment. Like, let's give it a try. It should say 19, for example, right now. And it says 0. Okay, I guess maybe because it's not a part of the network, really. So I guess that's not really going to work. Let's replace it with diamonds. This will be coal. And come on, let's find 2 more items that I'm using quite often. Okay, let's say dirt. Well, dirt, not really. Okay, let's just have something simple like copper and tin. So those 8 items, once all of them are locked, anytime I want, I can visually see the amount that I have in my system, and whenever I want, I can simply just come here, right click, and I get the stack that I'm looking for. I think left clicking does nothing, shift left clicking does nothing, and shift right clicking gives you just a stack as well. Okay, so there is no one item. But also something that you have to keep in mind, you cannot come here and left click or something, it won't, or right click, it won't fill it up. This is only like the output area. You cannot input anything into the network from here. So this is just a small thing, but it's a very nice and convenient thing to have. What happens if I try to pull with empty inventory? Nothing. Even though it can craft it, it does nothing. But it kind of makes sense, so there's no problem there. I think I could trick my system. I just had a very nice idea to do something. Let me think about it for a second. Okay, I just had a small idea, just a spark of my imagination, and I think it's gonna work. How to always keep your system stocked with something. So for example, let's say I don't like having only 54 glass. Let's say I want to always keep a full 10 stacks of glass, say. So let's see if it's gonna work. This is a total experiment that just came out of my head. Let's see. So I'm gonna need an export bus. I'm gonna need a level emitter. Let's just create 10 and always just keep them in the inventory. And I'm gonna break this. This is a nice thing in theory, but I'm not really gonna use it. So I'm gonna break this. So it's gonna stop harassing my crafting network. Okay, so got my level emitter. Let's try something like this. So for the time being, I'm gonna place it right here, but it's probably gonna change. So let's say I'm gonna have an ME interface right here, an export bus right here, and the level emitter right here. So they're all very nicely connected. Okay, so that export bus is gonna be creating glass. It's gonna be, it's gonna be exporting glass. Now you can see it's gonna loop back into the system, right? So it seems like stupid, like what are you doing? However, this one will only be crafting. This is always crafting, nothing else. So it's gonna always be exporting bus. It's gonna be always exporting glass. It's gonna be exporting when I have emit when levels are above limit, emit when levels, well, pretty much the same thing. Okay, so if I have more than 64 glass in the system, it's gonna stop emitting. This will work as long as there is a signal, and it will keep placing down glass. Let's see, is it working? This works with signal. Oh wait, I didn't tell it what to do. Okay, so it's gonna output glass. There you go. And there you have it. This is a kind of very stupid system, and I'm really surprised that it's working. But this way, with this system, it's gonna keep my Energistics network stacked with a stack of 64 glass. And let's say, let's lower the number, see how it works with a lower number. So let's say if I lower it to 64, done. So this one stopped working because it's only working with a redstone signal, but if I take out some glass, bam, it's working again, and it's gonna craft more glass, and there you have it. That's actually, I don't know if it's intended. Well, I guess it was intended at some point, but there you go. You can also have a system to keep your entire network supplied with something. So, for example, this is glass, but I could also do it for smooth stone. I could do it for, I don't know, always keep 64 pistons available. Oh, and basically this is, I can also do something like this. I can also tell that to always craft 64 panels. However, I'm gonna need another level emitter. This is something to keep in mind. You will always have to use a level emitter if you want to stop it. If you don't want to stop it and you want it to keep crafting infinitely, doing something like this will always keep doing this. But I don't really want to do this. Not with solar panels. This is quite a complicated recipe to craft, so I don't really want to do this. But right now, my Energistics solar system, my Energistics inventory system will always keep 10 stacks of glass at least. If it has more, it won't do anything. If it has less, it's gonna keep smelting sand. So I think it's awesome. This is actually a very convenient thing to have. Alright, I actually may make a tutorial about this kind of thing, so if you guys... okay, so probably I'm gonna make a tutorial about this, so you guys probably have seen this video, have seen this idea a couple of days ago, but yeah. Alright, as always, thank you guys for watching, see you guys next time.